Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your Smegro 31. A great chat for the video yesterday in the comments. Go back and check it out. A lot of people we talked about like building lineups and stuff like that. So it was great to try to answer those questions and post some thoughts. And in the future, let me know. Like, unfortunately, like with DK policy, just to be fair and not to get us all banned, like I can't give you like a full line. But if you ever want me to go through and just like do a video, a building line of like my whole process or McKinley's process, and then like release it post lock to help you see how like we think through and talk through things. If that would be helpful, then just let us know, and it's something that maybe we can consider doing. So 9 game slate tonight, one mild weather concern, but actually looking at the turbo slate, it's going to be probably a 6 gamer, and I might be playing that one. I'm not going to be covering that one in this one, just in the interest of time. But you got like 92 degrees in Pittsburgh, and Chicago put up like a football score last night. You have a 90 degrees in Kansas City and Cleveland game with a 9 total. You have 93 degrees with the wind blowing out in the Great American Small Park with two pitchers, Cincinnati and Oakland. And then you have Philly and Houston. It's 85 degrees there, and 89 degrees in Washington with like the Yankees game and Garrett Cole on the mound, and they're playing Patrick Corbin. So fire up all the righties there for the Yankee bats. So um, looks like a pretty cool slate there. So, but we're going to focus on the main one here. So starting with the first game, Toronto and Boston. Yeah, Ariel Rodriguez and Cooper Criswell. Not interested in either one here. Maybe Rodriguez in the cheap range, but I don't think you really need to go down that far. 9.5 total. A little bit cooler here in Boston, 75 degrees with the wind blowing out 8 miles per hour. Hitter Park, that should definitely help it there. So Boston could be top stack on the slate. I've seen Rodriguez struggle at times, and they're so lefty heavy here, like Duran, Abreu, Casas, Devers, Yoshida, all of them. O'Neill and Wong maybe mix in, even Hamilton, Raphael. If you want to do wraparound for a little bit cheaper, that works. In Toronto, and I'm going to continue to go back in the well there. They've been hitting well recently and starting to put things together. I know it's too little, too late for both these teams, but it could make an exciting chance to be spoilers down to the end of the season. Although Boston just kind of like folded last season towards the end, I think they went like 2-28 or something. Like I was listening to the broadcast last night, and the broadcasters were talking about how there was an epic collapse at the end of the last season. So, but I think there's still some offense to come here and a chance to play both these teams. I don't necessarily know if they're cash. Well, Boston, I probably would like in cash here. I think it's very affordable. I know you've got the two almost 6K guys to try to get in, but I think there's enough value to make it work. And pitching's not super expensive besides Flaherty. There's like definitely some good plays in 9K range and in the 7K range to make things work for you. Like I said, Blue Jays on the other side. Springer, Varsho, Guerrero, and I can leave him out of stacks and doing fine. Horwitz, Kirk at 3-3 for an everyday catcher, batting fifth, even though he doesn't have the splits, he's been solid. Wagler's has been cheap, like Clement, and actually Addison Barger has actually done well too recently into a 2-6 for a wraparound there, and sometimes hits up higher in the order. So some options there. Braves and Twins. Braves put a hurting on the Twins, barely over 9 runs. Wow. Did not see that coming yesterday. Completely whiffed on that one. So I think more people would play that in a GPP with the weather and against a good pitcher. So if you did stack the Braves, congratulations on your big night last night. But today was a new day. So Spencer Schwellenbach and Simeon Woods Richardson. Schwellenbach, I think, is definitely solidly in play here at 9K. I get you about 20 DK points against Minnesota, who's they're at the bottom 10%, or bottom top 10 at only 21% K rate. So there's not a ton of K upside. It depends on the lineup, but would still like be missing like Buxton and mixing Carrera. They're not as strong as they used to be. So and Schwallenbeck has been solid. So I think that definitely it's more of a pitcher's park too. So definitely in play there. If you want to save a little versus like Gilbert and Flaherty. And Wood Richardson, I think, is definitely in play in the cheap range against the Braves, who I just don't think are going to put up the same numbers as they did last night. Look at the lineup, like Merrifield there leading off. Solaire's been good, but I like him better against lefties. Ozuna has cooled off since the beginning of the season. Olson's starting to come around a little bit, but it's had an off season. Murphy, ready, a catcher like clinic. Like I just again, it's just hard to look at this Braves lineup and say like, wow, this is like a juggernaut that could score 9 runs against. So I think 8 is appropriate for the total. I think both pitchers are in play, and I think both of the teams, bat wise, are just going to be in GPPs. I'd probably stack them. I would not take any one offs for cash. Padres in St. Louis, 97 degrees, wind blowing out 5 miles per hour. That's definitely great hitting weather in the gateway city here. So Cease is on the mound for San Diego. Been a good pitcher this season, but like if you look at the box score for like the last 3, 4 games, they've only been like the high teens. Like really hasn't like got up there in like the 20s or anything, which at 9-9 almost like 10K. I just pay $100 more for like Flaherty. Like Baltimore's probably a better defense against them, but it just with the weather and everything, I just don't know if I really want to move them, especially in cash. So maybe in GPP. St. Louis has been better recently. They probably middle of the road with like plate discipline and strikeouts and stuff. So and Cease has given up at least like I think 2 runs the last like 3 starts. So definitely some opportunity there. And Miklos on the other side, and I played him sometimes during the season, the right matchup at 6-3, but I don't even know if he can get 10 DK points here. So probably going to be out on that. So I think San Diego is definitely going to make a compelling stack. Again, I don't play Areza, but Profar, Croningworth, Machado, Bogarts, Merrill, like so it's super annoying that there's no shortstop in the stack anymore. Mason McCoy because of with Kim out, but I loved it when Xander had that shortstop designation. But well, on the other side of it, St. Louis, I think, is definitely in the cheaper range. There's nobody here that's over 4-3. And again, if Cease is going to struggle, I think they're priced down because he has been a strong pitcher at times. But I think there's definitely a great stack to go at against him in a GPP. Texas Rangers, Chicago White Sox, wind blowing in here 6 miles per hour, 89 degrees still. So and that doesn't make it like a battle for pitchers here. And there's going to be 43% chance of rain after 8 o'clock. So we'll have to see. This game starts at 8:10 Eastern time. So I have to keep an eye on this one. Will they play through it? Will it be enough to disrupt things? I don't know. But Heaney and Crochet, Heaney, I think, is going to be pretty popular at 7K against the White Sox. So, but people will probably be watching the weather on that one. Crochet, he's pitching like 60 pitches. So, I, and the Rangers aren't one that you gotta go out there and like give you like. There were a couple games where in his limited time he's able to go out there and get 8 or 10 strikeouts, but I don't see that against the Rangers. So he's going to be on the shelf today. Rangers, I think, depending on the weather situation against Crochet and then the White Sox bullpen after him, are definitely in play as one of the top stacks. They would rank fifth for me if I'm going there, just with the weather concern. Probably stick to the righties. Like Simeon Grossman's been a nice value there, batting third. Uh, Seager lefty and lefty's fine. Garcia and Young are starting to do a little bit better. Langford's cooled off a little bit, but still in play. So I'd stick to the righties there. And White Sox, I considered in a GPP taking a cheap stack of them there because you have Jukes who came over from Houston, who definitely has some talent leading off potentially. Roberts, Sosa, Vaughn had a good game last night. He's been one of the solid bright spots in a dismal season overall. And Corey Lee's probably the cheapest catcher on the board, batting second, batting fifth with splits advantage. So, like, if you're looking for a cheap catcher, and this game's going to play, then there you go, lock them in there. Cash, GPP, wherever. It's great savings there and doesn't need to do much at 2.4 to pay off the salary. San Francisco and the Brewers, lowering Logan Webb and Tobias Myers. Uh, Webb's great ground ball pitcher. He's been super solid recently in his last three starts. And I think Milwaukee, even though they do have potential at times to put up runs, a lot of righties in this lineup. I think he'll be fine with it. I'm really um, concerned with him giving up home runs and stuff. Maybe a couple runs, but I think he'll have a solid outing here. And on the other side, Myers, like San Francisco's, their K rate has really risen a lot recently. They're almost at 30%. So I think Myers has got to be in consideration here in the mid range at 7-8, which is actually almost low because sometimes the mid range are all 8K guys. So I have no qualms playing either pitcher. And for the bats, I think you could make, besides like Fitzgerald and Chapman, at 5K Contreras. So take those three out, at least this team, if you want to go after them, and GPPs are very stackable or could make cheap fill-ins. I wouldn't do it for cash, but I'd probably just do it for GPP in case one of the pitchers has an off night. But San Francisco has one of the best pulled pens, so keep that in consideration. And Milwaukee is just kind of neutral. Marlins and Rockies, Coors Field, 11 total here. 5 total for Marlins, 6 total for the Rockies. Rodney Munoz, qual control, not touching Munoz. Control on the other side, maybe he's had some okay games. Miami is Miami, but Miami's been hitting well recently. But both these teams, their lineups yesterday were like questionable. I know Miami had Xavier Edwards is out, and that like really killed what I wanted to do because he was like the one shortstop that I really liked last night. And then Tovar wasn't even in on the other side. He got the day off. He's day to day. He should be okay. Doyle might be out. I think he has like a quad or hamstring tightness or something like that. So like the Rockies lineup was like almost triple A, and the Marlins lineup was a bunch of names that I didn't expect either. So, but I think you can go back here today for the Marlins. Like Norby leading off is great spot for him, great opportunity with Edwards out. Prospect from Baltimore that they got with Stowers for a really bad trade that Baltimore made for with the Trevor Rogers or Richards or whoever. And the guy they ended up designating for assignment anyways didn't work out. So that was a head scratcher. Maybe it's just a salary thing or something. I don't know what they were doing there, but Berger it continues to hit well. Sanchez has the split advantage. Bride, I like him better against lefties, but he's in play there. Stowers has some speed, but Griffin Conine, Jeff Conine's son, is going to potentially get the start here. He got called up yesterday. The whole family is out there in Colorado. They're on vacation in New Jersey and hopped the plane to be able to go see their son. The manager said he will start sometime during the series, and he's only 2K. So at Coors Field, an exciting young prospect coming up for the Marlins here. Why not? Brujan's okay, also at 3.8, and Fortes is a little bit expensive catcher. I pay $100 more for Kirk or pay down for the White Sox guy. I wouldn't throw him in your Marlins stack. The Rocky side of it, Blackman should be back leading off. Tavares should be back. McMahon, Toglia, I don't mind. Nolan Jones, as I said yesterday, has been doing better recently, but his price is starting to creep up to 4.6. So Drew Romo, the catcher, I really don't know a ton about him, but probably like him a little bit better than the Fortes if you're trying to like stack the game. So lots of ways to go here. Not super expensive besides Doyle, who might not even play at 6K. You just have Berger and Togu at 5.6 and 5.5, and or Tovar. So and they're definitely a stackable gamer for each team. Mets and Diamondbacks, Minaya and Eduardo Rodriguez. You have two lefty pitchers here that probably get you 13 to 15 DK points, but could potentially have trouble because both teams have done really well against left-handed pitching. So I think that they are in the mid range, and you can consider them. But I like Myers and Springs much better in their matchups. So if you're mass multi entering, definitely keep these two in consideration. But I like the bats definitely. I like Arizona the best over the Mets. So the top GPP stack for me, especially Podermo leading off. He's been hot recently. Uh, Gurriel, Bell, Grichuk, Suarez is where I'd go with that one. And then on the Mets side, always Lindor, Vientos, I like in the two spot, Alonso, Marte or Martinez, Iglesias. Bader and Alvarez have been ice cold recently. Maybe this is a game where they heat it up. They are very cheap at 3.2 and 3.4. So if you're doing 100 max and 150 max, then definitely include them in your stacks. But if you're only doing 20, then stay closer to the top of the Mets lineup. Tampa Bay and Seattle, it's the same thing as yesterday. It's another pitchers matchup here against two teams that have a lot of strikeouts in the lineup, and I think this might be the pairing of the night. Like yesterday was the pairing of the night too. So Springs and Gilbert, I think Gilbert's my favorite one on the slate here, and then Springs is definitely probably number two. I think Heaney, if the weather stays good, with the $500 savings is going to be paired with Gilbert. That's going to be the chalk cash one, but I think Gilbert and Springs is where I am going to lean. Both of these teams are just going to be contrarian. The game only has a 6.5 total, a 3.53 for Seattle, and a 2.97 for Tampa Bay. So that just seems low for a Major League Baseball game, but that just tells you what Vegas thinks about how well these pitchers are going to do, and it probably makes a lot of sense to use them in your cash lineup and not play any of the bets from the game in cash. Final game, Baltimore goes out to the Dodgers. Could this be a World Series preview? That'd be cool. Cole Irvin and Flaherty, not touching Irvin. Struggled a lot recently. Dodgers are getting healthy, and just I have a 5.27 total, so I think he could struggle here. Flaherty on the other side, I think could do very well and has done very well. And this is a chance to see if he's matchup proof because Baltimore is definitely really good team. I know they lost Mountcastle and they still have well, who else is out? A couple other bats are still on the IL and not back yet, but still, there's enough power in this offense to still concern me to not have Flaherty as my top option. But again, this is a great chance for him to go out there and show like you brought me in. It doesn't matter who I'm facing. I'm going to go out there and do my job and do it well. So we'll see with that one. So I'll definitely be playing some Flaherty. I don't think it'll be my primary cash lineup, but more GPPs. I'll definitely probably have Baltimore stack against him also as a contrarian play. I didn't even feel like they should go in the leverage leftovers. I just think that Baltimore has had such a decent offense with potential there, especially with like Bowser. And Russian's been hot and cold recently. Gunnar Henderson's been solid. Santander's been solid. O'Hearn's going to be the everyday first baseman with having Mountcastle out there. So, and then Mullins or Holiday, if you want to finish the stack with a lefty, definitely works. And then on the Dodger side, I think they're my second favorite stack here. I don't like that Mookie's not at second base anymore because a lot of the builds I build, like second base is open, and then I don't have like Chris Taylor. I mean, maybe a couple years ago, I'd like him against a lefty, and maybe I do a wraparound thing. I could do like Taylor, Otani, Betts, Fiasco, and Will Smith, but Rojas and Edmonds, like you can Kiki Hernandez, you can consider in the mid range there if you need fill in. So I guess besides Freeman, I like any of the Dodgers here if you're building stacks. So definitely play around with it and in 20 maxes, the different combinations. But Boston by far is my favorite, and then there's a lot of cheap plays to build around them with to make everything work. So let's look at the builds and get you on your way for your Tuesday. So, like I said, I'm taking Gilbert and give me Heaney or Springs. I'm probably leaning Springs there, but Heaney gives you a little bit of savings, but we have to watch the weather on that one. So give me Boston. So Cassis, Devers, Abreu, and then for the Miami for fill in there, Norby and Conine are very cheap. And then if you want Burger over Diaz to go like with a heavier Miami lineup versus heavier Boston, that's kind of your pivot point, and you can go either way. Catcher, I don't necessarily want Fortes in there. I'm okay if you can get up to Wong, but like I said, you probably just want to go maybe with Corey Lee there at 2.4K or Kirk at 3.3. For GPP, give me Flaherty and give me Schwellenbach. And I want to take advantage of Arizona against a lefty. So give me Bell, who's a switch hitter there. Suarez has been hitting really well recently, especially against lefties, and Perdomo leading off. And then Gurriel, and then Mubar or Burleson to from the Cardinals. And then I'm going to fill in with Cardinals there also with the rest of it. So like Donovan can be second base eligible if you want to go there or take a one off. Catcher like Herrera, I'm fine with, or take a cheap one. And then you have a lot of choices for outfield with like Burleson or New, or you could put like one of those in the other spot there, or Victor Scott's really cheap on the other side for a wraparound stack. I love the speed that he has there. And then if for some reason Perdomo is not leading off or not in the lineup at all, then you can always go like Mason Wynn at shortstop. So that's what I got for you. If you have any questions, put in chat below. Hit me up Megaro31 on Twitter/X. If you want more information on FSi DFS, go to the description of the video and you can get to our pricing page where it's very cheap. I think it's like $3 a day, like maybe like $15 a week to play baseball. For us, if you want all the sports, then it's only like $6 a day, and that covers soccer, WNBA, PGA towards the end of the week, MLB. Um, football's coming up. That'll be included soon. Like lots coming up for the fall. College football, if you're in a state that can play it, will be up this week also. So check it out. Check out what we have, and look forward. And our Discord is just free to join too. So if you want to get in there, there are some free rooms that you can get into and check out. Also, that will help you, and it also helps you be able to reach out to us one on one if you have any questions on stuff. We can try to coach you through there too, and we do that free of charge as long as we have time. Our subs have to take priority, but most of the time we have a little bit of time left over to help out all the other people that have some questions for us. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always. So if these videos help you, help us back, like, subscribe to our channel, and share with friends. So thanks for watching. Hope you have an amazing Tuesday. McKinley will have the videos Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'll be back on Saturday. So I will see you then.